Alex Answer here. I'm just getting my grounding. It is November 15th in the year 2017. Trying not to speak too loudly because I'm kind of in a residential area where there's a park. It's within several miles of my residence. You could say that there's a lot of areas within this county that I haven't even explored yet. So I'm going to explore a couple concepts with you. First and foremost, when this is uploaded, go ahead and look down below in the description. And for those of you that would like to support my work to the tune of 19 cents a day, $5.95 per month, I'm going to be expanding on video on the off-grid political situation and the need for people to come together, put aside their politics if they are to survive defending their freedoms and to not be pigeonholed into a box. Now, I'm going to be sharing information that's not going to be shared on YouTube. And for those of you that are supporters that will already be watching the video, that's going to become apparent why. Some things a person like me shouldn't necessarily put out on YouTube, especially when it's very controversial and there's certain factors involved, certain players involved, if you will. And for those of you that do remember my coverage of what happened in Costilla County, you may recall that I covered a very unusual occurrence in October of 2015. I documented on video and uploaded even a confrontation to YouTube between myself and a particular individual who I believe may have been an FBI informant that may have been there in Costilla County to rally people around some extremist concepts that really could put those individuals on the FBI radar, if you will. There is some new information that is out there on the internet with regards to a particular court case, and it turns out that my suspicions, the very thing that I alleged in late 2015 without evidence, but just going on a hunch, and it was a major allegation that I made. Some of you remember what that was. Again, think back. What was I doing? Where was I? In October of 2015. So I'm going to be giving a follow-up to subscribers. Please sign up at outsidethebox.vhx.tv. So I've parked my car here and not too close to any of the houses. Probably looks like I'm just talking on the phone like another cell phone zombie. I am using a new microphone. Let me know down in the comment section if it is a monumental, significant improvement. Sounds like an improvement to me, but that's just me. So our main topic at the moment, as I look around my surroundings in this particular spot, they got some signs: do not park homeless people, no camping overnight. More signs of the times, I would say, in a literal sense, a sign of the times. One of the things that you've seen me narrate and talk about is surviving isolation. And I definitely look at things from more than one perspective. You hear me say sometimes yin yang, that Chinese symbol, or yin yang. Some people enunciate it yin yang, but it symbolizes duality. Just like there's night and day, man, woman. So in the case of myself, right? Sure, there's a part of me that misses interaction with people in the city, and I'm going to talk about my desires to do some traveling in the future, maybe to some major cities, maybe even outside of Colorado. Portland, not so much, but do I still have the same attitude that I had before, that I would never, ever, ever step foot in Portland again? No, I don't feel like I have the same attitude with Portland in general. I'm curious, what Portland will turn into, for better or for worse. But right now I take this period, which, one might call isolation. On a Friday and Saturday night, I'm at home. On a Sunday night, I'm at home. But what am I doing? I'm doing things that are valuable to my soul. I'm writing things also in a private diary, basically. And I've made it my goal to maintain that private diary, even if it's just a few pages a day, and to step back, step outside the box of some sort of an attitude that a book needs to be written in the next few months. And to maybe, move on from certain types of thoughts. I really see the things that I'm writing now as something that'll be part of a larger book, and I don't see all of the material as material that should be published now. I see a lot of things that I'm writing now as things for future generations. I feel like there should be at least a certain opinion, an outside the box perspective on just what happened here before the XYZ. I think there should be narration from this time in history before the events. I think there needs to be conversation about how society in some cases acted like it was a victim or being victimized by outsiders, when in reality they were really being victimized by their own tribe and their own people. In the case of a potential land use code dispute, government versus the people, I'm looking at a situation in a particular part of America where they're all Trumpites. No Muslim invasion involved, just wealthier Trump supporters stepping on the off-grid, lower income Trump supporters. Again, not a Muslim, not a Sharia law inside. But are both of those groups united on a particular psychosis? Absolutely. So thus, it would only be perfect if, I don't mean it's good, but I mean it makes sense why you see some people turning on each other when they are already introduced to a particular psychosis. In other words, they didn't even see it coming. I'm going to be talking about this on demand as well. You have some individuals that lost out in 2008, lost out in 2009. They lost a lot of money, but the Muslims didn't cause that economic collapse. And Obama didn't do what he did alone, and Donald Trump is no different. We are still dealing with an economic system that is cannibalizing itself and its people and the resources within this country. That's something that people need to awaken to, so they can get outside their box of what they think is the ultimate threat coming from the outside and look more at inside. So the more I actually talk about this, the more this is actually a metaphor for each and every one of us. We have to look inside ourselves for the strength. We have to stop being victims in some cases, even myself. I look at the gifts that I have. I look at the amount of things that I'm grateful for. I even feel that I've enjoyed a certain level of human protection from harm that other humans have not. Despite my fears that I've shared, I think there's an obvious track record of a guy like me moving around the planet in different spots and being fairly safe and traveling without, you often hear me say this, traveling without a bazooka. You know what I mean? Traveling within my means, or traveling with $100 to my name. You just look at a lot of people back in the day, they had to write down their stories. And I just grabbed a camera and documented it for YouTube on the different places that I've traveled to, through Wyoming, through Idaho, through Utah, a place I never stopped except for gas. Although I am curious about Salt Lake City. And right now, I'm living in an area that feels like the deep south of rural Colorado because of the demographic shifts. Some of them not always for the positive, some of them for the more concerning, as the amount of people that I see identifying with the race identity politics increases, when really what's important is the New World Order. And anyone really familiar with the New World Order and the real elite, right? They would understand that nothing's really changed within this country. Only those that aren't already versed with what the New World Order really is and how it used puppets at sometimes popular presidents. They use both popular and unpopular president-type characters and politicians to get through the agenda. And like a ping pong ball, one leads to the other. So for a lot of people, they're just waiting for the next election or the election after that to get their Democrat back, right? To get their own political messiah back, but they still don't get it. So even to speak to those within the framework of anti-Trump, pro-Obama, what is Obama doing to stop anything that Trump's doing? These people as well have lost their minds, just like those that are in support of the current POTUS, President of the United States. Sometimes when I see that acronym, I just see piece of. So yeah, kind of relaxing here. I'm glad that there aren't any other cars here. I've done a number of videos in the past from parks and public spaces, and it can get really easy to be distracted by other people. I could be speaking about something and someone could be attracted to it and come by and sit down. And I've had videos where I've gotten up and gotten the hell out of there. It's like, what are you listening to? More so back in Portland. I'm a little less public. I'm a little less under the radar here in Southwest Colorado with regards to looks like we're gonna have to actually get the car in motion because I didn't want to turn off since I've had some car issues, and I've just now Okay, pause that. Down. Okay. The car was heating up. So, there's a little bit of anxiety with regards to the car. It wasn't running for a while, and just sit back down here on the grass. And I felt that I was meant to be there for a reason. Stuck on the land, but I had a ride into town. Good friend locally. She's been here 25 years. So through her, for the first time in the year and a half that I've been here, we're almost 2 years. Well, coming up on the summer of 2018, it'll be 2 years. And meeting this Native American woman is the first time I felt empathy from another human being in this region with regards to the isolation that I felt from the dominant tribalism. And that was the first time. And, it did come after praying to the Creator, and a little bit of a mantra that I put out that good women still do exist in this world. Despite at times the missing good woman nature in our lives. And a lot of women can have empathy for what I'm discussing. They may also, from the other side, be feeling a lack of good men or people in their lives or their communities. Again, the internet can be a really positive thing if we focus on those positive people and positive information and videos that can set us free from the matrix. Or it can lead people deeper into the illusions of separation. So what I've obviously been witnessing is how the illusions of separation, the programming on the internet has affected the smallest communities in America today. So the very thing that can also set us free is the very thing that's holding some people back from realizing who their real friends are. So it's nice to be able to do this recording at somewhat of a little bit of a park in a residential area in this part of Colorado, but not be too close to anyone, but to share my energy. And that's, honestly, it's like someone looked me in the eyes, an older man, as he went into the bathroom today as I was riding at the coffee shop. And, it's obvious that I'm not from here. And people can also just feel the energy. Like, you ain't from around here. And I'm trying not to let that be a bad thing. I'm still musing upon ways in which how I can apply my intellect and my ability to data mine and gather information and to make it a positive thing within this community, but also be smart enough to not, get involved politically or with regards to local things and controversy with regards to that. But I am learning about the environment that I'm in. And, there's some clear ways in which some things could be easier. And this is a part of America, and this is a time in America before some major events that we should be experiencing what freedoms we can. Whether it be the freedom to live on your own land or the freedom to share your own voice on YouTube and maybe make a few quarters or a few dollars. Whether it be the freedom to, write a book or to buy anything that you desire when it comes to information and things of that nature. So there are certain freedoms that people take for granted, and people can also be drunk on just an excess of freedom that they never really had to work for. There's a really warped understanding of what freedom is. That freedom is something that has only come about through the barrel of a gun, through our military killing people. And even though I don't bring it up in every video, that's a pretty extreme psychosis. That's a pretty extreme psychosis within a civilization or a society, that freedom only comes through murdering innocent people and occupations. That somehow is aligned with maintaining freedoms, or, for example, the U.S. Constitution. Again, I see situation after situation where the oppression that the American people that may be freaked out about Sharia law or other governments or other people or other religions, you ultimately look at who their real oppressors are. Not what's on the internet Facebook feed, but who's actually taxing them, who's actually controlling immigration, who's actually pricing people out of homes. The system that's actually created a nation of renters and people that aren't owning anything. It's not because of immigrants per se. It's because of the system that is pitting human beings off against one another. And this is something that you see people, whether you call them the left or the right, a lot of people avoid, right, the issues that really affect us all. A lot of people are stuck in the illusions of separation. And the situation can be mediated through a more sane line of thought. Again, looking around here at this off-grid community, this is where the old world meets the new world, where you have boats outside next to RVs, next to a home, next to an accessory dwelling structure, maybe another RV, maybe another van, maybe in an area for a certain amount of animals, especially in this area, livestock. And then, of course, you have people living a certain way for a number of years until new rules and regulations that also include things like owning one animal per acre, or something to that effect, or one cow per acre, or something to us. And you may have a situation where someone has learned how to effectively run a homestead on 1 acre, right, within their own space, and they've used that space very, very effectively. And then maybe one day, they're just sitting there shocked with their mouth wide open saying, the government's corrupt. Bastards. But honestly, have they in any way, again, we should all do accountability, like it's some sort of an AA meeting 4-step or something. Have people given away their power to the government or encourage the government in some ways, we in general as a collective, to take the rights from others? And we know in some cases, we can see it through social media posts. Many people do call for others to lose their lives or freedoms. And then they act surprised when energetically, karmically, it returns to them. So that's where I honestly feel the dumbing down of society, wrapping up this thought. And then I'll be back with more on demand. I'm going to be talking about some things on video that I've alluded to here that you're going to get on demand. Thank you, supporters. But there's this common theme of the golden rule being lost in contemporary American society. And that's something that I'm bringing back in these podcasts.